Navigating bureaucracy. Imagine that one night you are whisked away from Earth by an SUV-sized drone that shuttles you to a spaceship. Unbeknownst to you, there was a highly contentious space race in which a disgruntled planet of flibblegerps chose you as a write-in candidate to show how displeased they were with their whole darned election process. Well, you won the election without even knowing that flibblegerbs exist. Now, you are their leader. In front of you is a mountain of hundreds of tentacle-written letters from your loyal citizens wanting you to address their needs. "Not to worry, your grand high flibberviness," says your translator and second-in-command. "We have a staff that will take care of those letters for you," and tries to usher you out of the room. Now, the last thing you did before your alien abduction was mail off a handwritten letter to the Premier of Alberta, and you are suddenly filled with horror, thinking your precious efforts are sitting in a similar pile back on Earth, and you can't look away. You ask an intern about what appears to be the largest pile of letters coming out of the sorting process. You cannot tell if the tentacles are formally saluting you or if it's a rude gesture, and the intern says, "Glob fuggerty nogglebip nub zakpik," and then it either sneezes or swears. Your translator explains, "These letters are just trash, just ramblings with no purpose. Besides, most of them address you by your name instead of addressing you as your grand high flibberviness." You try to insist that you don't need to stand on proper titles, but the offense seems to be taken so deeply by the flibblegerbs that you realize the title is not really about you, and you let it go. You remember that your letter to the Premier never said honorable anything. You went with an informal approach as though you were talking to your friend, and did not start with a clear purpose in your first paragraph. You felt it would be better to start with some small talk before you got to the truth bomb you were so proud of. What if no one even got far enough to read your truth bomb? You notice a group of flibblegerbs in the corner quivering. They look more pale and sickly than the other interns, and you ask about them. "Oh, they will recover in a day or two," says your interpreter. "You see, one or two letters that are rude or disrespectful don't do much, but after having to read hundreds, it drains our snubble. If they just stay in the corner there for a few days, they will get their snubble replenished and can start again." Suddenly you start to hope that no one got far enough to read your truth bomb. You notice some interns taking piles of letters and answering them. "Hey," you point at the letter writers, "how can they answer on my behalf if I never even knew what was in the letter?" "Well," your interpreter explains, "they just complained and did not offer any solution or ask you to take any action. So the only answer we can give them is what the current policy is, and that you will be considering all policies in a timely manner. No need to bother you with that." The truth bomb you wrote last night now feels less like a truth bomb and more like a whiny nuisance. You never offered any solution, or at least asked the Premier to vote or speak or take any action to represent you. You notice several more letters going into the trash pile, and your interpreter anticipates your next question this time. "No return address," he shrugs. "We can't reply if they don't tell us who to reply to." Well, that's it. You can't go back to Earth anyway. You can't show your face there now. Might as well settle into your new re-election campaign. Your interpreter is finally able to usher you into the other room. There you find a report. The number of letters written about each issue gives you a good idea about what issues are most important to your flibblegerbs. The ones that gave suggestions or calls to action are now organized in a list that you can easily choose from. Then you notice 3 neat one-page letters. Your translator reads them for you, and they are truly unique. They include personal experience or expertise related to the issue and offer first-hand knowledge and data to support their positions. They are respectful, professional and courteous, and they offer either a solution or an action you can take. All their contact information is there, so you can instruct your interpreter to thank the letter writers for their assistance. Now, who really affected bureaucratic change here? You, your team, or the letter writers that were polite, professional, succinct, and unique?